So when we talk about the habit bit, how do you psychologically think of imbibing a habit into your customer? Or say, for example, there must be two types of customers, right? Someone who is already a avid user of a chewing gum, or someone who is a new entrant who is just trying your product.
Correct.
So how do you think about creating that habit? How will you hook someone to that your product?
So that's purely again from understanding consumer psyche, right? We did a lot of calls to understand our initial customers to just with them, hey, when do you chew gum, right? How often
Mm-hmm.
do you buy it? Where do you buy it from? From those things, we realized that one of the large reasons why people chew gum is to stay focused. Like you said, in class, you tend to feel drowsy and sleepy and all of that. So we thought, how about we actually solve that problem? Where
Mm-hmm.
chewing gum is already keeping you awake, but how about I actually elevate that and make a caffeinated chewing gum that actually helps you stay awake, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people chew gum during their long drives, during late nights, etc. So now a caffeinated chewing gum is a far more elevated use case of the same, right? And when you see that pronounced effect, right, you're chewing gum to stay active. Now a chewing gum actually makes you feel active, you'll tend to eat more of it, right? So that's one of the main use cases. Another use case was people chew sugar-free gum to proactively take care of their teeth. Today, we've been very reactive with respect to our oral care. When I say reactive, we don't care about oral hygiene as much, right? The trend across the world is people brush their teeth twice a day. In India, I feel majority of the people don't even brush once a day because उनको लगता है कि even if there's a cavity that is formed, they can go to a dentist and just get it filled for a very nominal price. So we are very reactive. But in the West, you see people are very proactive, where they take proactive care of their teeth to not get to the point where they have any gum disorders or cavities that are forming. So we understood that a lot of people are chewing gum to cavity formation. So we created a dental gum that contains an ingredient called nanohydroxyapatite. This ingredient is what our tooth enamel is made up of, right? Now, I'm not just preventing cavities, but I'm also helping you repair your teeth. Our idea is to elevate the use case, and that's when the habit is formed or a repeat is coming in.
So as you come up with all these ingredients,
Yeah.
say in something that repairs enamel, why do you think someone else in the market is not doing that? Is it expensive to do, or what do you think is the reason?
Chewing gum is just neglected. We came in, people still used to ask us all of our initial investor calls that we spoke on. People would be like, hey, I'm like, why? People would just continue eating a 1 rupee chewing gum. Like, why should
Right, right.
a person spend 6 rupee on a chewing gum, right? Somebody has to do the heavy lifting and somebody has to, show a use case. So I'm pretty sure
Correct.
that there will be larger companies that will come in and copy our use cases, right? Today, we launched a caffeinated chewing gum. Neurogum from the US entered India.
Mm-hmm.
Neurogum from the US had only a mint and cinnamon flavor across the world. When they came
Yes.
into India, they saw we had a cold coffee flavor. They inevitably launched a cold coffee flavor, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes. I saw that.
that trend will for sure happen, right? There will be large companies that will come in. That's what smaller companies are good at doing, right? We know how to disrupt the space.
Correct. So, एक heart to heart question है मयंक मेरा. So I also with my family business. So we have a manufacturing unit. So I understand what goes behind running a manufacturing unit. How difficult is it? And it doesn't really come on the face of it when you are a retail brand, right? Your packaging shows, your marketing shows, but your manufacturing doesn't.
Correct.
And I'm pretty sure since day one, you would not have invested in a manufacturing facility. So what was that time when you realized that yes, this is the right time, we should invest in a manufacturing facility? And before that, what were you exactly doing? How were you manufacturing these chewing gums?
I've been kind of blessed to have the kind of skill sets to develop a product, so I didn't ever have to go to a consultant. The initial gums that we were making were all handmade, hand rolled, hand cut. When it got to a point that okay, now there is good user traction and people are liking the product and people are coming and buying the product again, when I thought, okay, boss, let's invest a little bit of money and set up a small pilot unit of our own. For us, it's always been uh, figuring out supply and demand. When the demand goes up and the supply is down, then increase the supply or increase the production capacity to an extent. Whereas if I was heavily funded or any other person who has the funds at his discretion, then what people do is they invest in a state of the art factory and then they figure out where to sell, right? So
Correct,
their
correct.
supply is sorted, but the demand is not yet. But in our case, it's always been a supply demand mismatch where demand has always been higher than the supply, and we are kind of figuring out how to cater to that demand. And I spent a lot of time also going around to contract manufacturing sites. If you keenly observe the D2C space in India, if a company is a seller, they are not a manufacturer, or if a company is a manufacturer, they are not a seller. Majority of the
Generally.
companies out there, your Mama Earth, any of these brands that you can think of, they all just formulate and get product made, and all they do is market and sell. That's why they've been able to scale that fast.